style, inline style. And the limitations you have seen, the main limitation is you cannot reuse. That is the limitation. So I'm giving a small example here, and it will affect only for that particular heading. So it will not for others. That is the problem. So you can use, so then instead of this, you can use embedded styles. You can use embedded styles. Actually, the embedded style is nothing but styles are defined for HTML elements in a separate style section, in a separate style section, in a separate style section by using style tag, by using style tag. So styles are defined for HTML elements in a separate style section by using style tag. So style tag, these styles are embedded into HTML page, at in head or body sections, These styles are embedded into HTML page in head or body sections, right? So you can reuse the styles for several elements. So if they are embedded, that is one advantage. You can reuse the styles for several elements if they are embedded. That is the main intention. But here also the restriction is, so they are little slow in rendering. So slow in rendering effects, as they are external. They are not within the element. Because they have to come from some other location and render. It will take some time when compared to the previous. Another point is you cannot reuse the embedded styles. So embedded, you cannot reuse the embedded styles of one page in another. That means styles are only for that specific page. Styles are only for the specific page. You cannot access them and use them in another page. That is problem with the embedded technique. But it is good when you are trying to use from various locations in the page itself. Reusability, when you want reusability. How the styles are defined embedded, I will show you here. I am removing the styles from here. We are removing the styles from here. Yeah. And these effects are removed now. We can embed in head section or in body section. Many times this question comes, when to embed in head section, when to embed in body section. Generally, if you design the styles in such a way that styles can be directly applied to elements directly on loading the page, then you can keep them in body section. If you want the styles to be loaded and to be kept in the memory of browser so that you can later use them whenever required, then you have to keep in head section. Immediate use, then body. Load in memory and use later, then in head section. These are the 2 points. So because at both locations they will work, you have to decide according to the situation and the requirement of your styles. So here, what is the point is, so the frequently asked question here is where to embed the styles, where to embed the styles. So that is in head or in body. This is the question. So answer is quite simple actually. So if you want to load the styles at the time of loading body, at the time of loading page, then keep in body section, keep in body. Second is if you want to load the styles into memory and the use for later, then keep in head. That is the clean point. These are the 2 important things. So where to keep, whether in the head or in the body, depending on the situation. At both places they work, but if you are unnecessarily keeping that in the body section, but you will use later, then you are making the page slow. That is important. So you have to check the availability of effects when they are going to apply. That you have to check, and based on that we need to keep in head and body. So what we are doing currently in head section, I am writing a style. Here we can write the styles. How to write the styles, selectors and all, in the next level we are going to discuss. As of now, temporarily I am using heading 1. Okay, heading 1 and its effects. This syntax I will tell in a separate session. We will discuss all the points in how many ways we can write those selectors and all, right? Here initially heading 1 background color, some dark cyan, okay, and the color some white, okay, and text align. So we are saying take color white, okay, and the text align centered, okay. And you can see that wherever the heading 1 comes, so wherever heading 1 comes in the page, so it will apply those effects. How to ignore for any specific, how to apply for only few, this all you will learn later. As of now we are discussing about what is meant by embedded. Embedded means they are defined in the head section, or you can keep in the body section. Currently I remove from here, they are removed and no effects applied. I'm keeping in the body section, anywhere in the body section, I'm keeping in the body section, and you can see they are working fine. Then you may ask, both are working now, what is difference? That's what we learned detailedly. Every time we don't want effects to apply immediately. Later in JavaScript you will learn the situation how to apply effects only when they are necessary. So that situation will come dynamically later. In that case, so you have to keep the effects in the head section and use them. This very much matters, whether you are keeping in the head section, whether you are keeping in the body section. performance issues also will come. So if you are keeping it a wrong place, performance issue. Remember, even you are writing inline style. Suppose many people have this doubt and question also, like, okay, I'm writing this inline style, embedded style, and it is working fine, embedded style. If I write again a style, what will happen? In the style, I said background color is blue. Here, what will happen? Actually, when you apply the styles, that means when you are locally configuring the styles, usually you can see that the blue is applied. That means generally it is a common thing, like this is loaded and applied to heading. After that, now this is applied to heading. Then obviously the private styles will work. So they will not use these effects. You are writing inside them. That means you are privately mentioning that use this one. In that case, it will ignore these effects. It will ignore this effect, right? So it will ignore this. Remember, this will be overridden. Others are not overridden. That's the reason others are working fine. If you write others, they will be also overridden. Others means color, text alignment. Currently, style is overriding only this one, overriding this one. So you can configure in this way also. So how to write different selectors, that you will learn in the next level, right? Initially, this doubt comes. If I write both, what will happen? Both, what will happen? It will take priority for inline. So it will use inline, right? So that is the first option. So you need to know that. So that is embedded. That means another option is, means another regular question here is, yeah, another regular question here asked is like, so how this will affect? That means another question is like, if we define styles, if we define styles both inline and embedded, then which one will work? That is general question here. Which one will work? That is the question. So the answer for this is actually which one will work for this. Actually, the answer for this is, so inline styles will always override the embedded styles. That is the point. Regularly, that what happens is, technically, so how this works? Example means how to use the embedded styles. So what we have to do, this is a page. This is example for understanding embedded styles. This is example for embedded styles. So we are writing styles by using style tag, and we are configuring it. Okay. One more important point is there. While working with styles, so we have some important attributes. So style tag attributes. We have some important attributes for style tag. This style tag is having some important attributes. So technically, what are the attributes for this style tag? So that means the main point is, first, when you are embedding the styles, you have an option called, you can use an attribute called type. Type is one attribute. Type attribute is nothing but it defines the styling language as a MIME type. So that means a browser can understand what language actually you are writing here inside this code. That means browser, see, if you use this flower brace like this, browsers get confused with understanding about what language it is actually. That is the reason to comfort the browsers. So we have to tell the browser that this belongs to this particular language. That means the styling language. How you say that this is belonging to the styles? This language is related to styles. This syntax is related to styles. By using the attribute type as text/CSS. Without that also it will work, but this makes perfect now. That means now browsers can easily understand. So, and it can simply use that style type, what type of effects you are using. Actually, so you open the debugger, inspect, right click and inspect the page. In the debugger, so you can go to here console, network. In the network, you make a request again, and the request comes here. And you can see, so here, the request inline, this is the document. And you are using some content. What kind of content it is? Content type is HTML. Okay. And other details will be displayed here related to this HTML page. At the top, you can see we have some style sheets. So there are no style sheets used here. Yeah, that means empty. It is not present here. And the styles related information is not present anywhere here. It is not present anywhere here. That is why they are called embed. That means now they are considered as a part of HTML. But one problem that browsers can face is, so the browsers can face here is, here number of requests, only one HTML request is coming. What browsers can face is, browsers sometimes can ignore this code that you have written due to the recognition. That means they cannot recognize the code you have written. So this should not happen. To avoid this, it is always good to define. It is always good to define as the type as text CSS. So what is the point about using text CSS is to tell the browser what type of styling language you are using. For CSS, we have text CSS. For JavaScript, we have text JavaScript. So we can use so many other options also, right? So text CSS, text JavaScript, text XML, what type of content it is, you have to mention that. So that is generally required. So this is one attribute, that is type, how you can configure the type. Okay. So type, so how you mention about this type attribute. Actually, type is an attribute. Let's take a simple tabular form, right? So what are the attributes we are having here, right? Means basic attributes, what you have to know and how it should be called actually. These basics are important even for JavaScript also, because that's the reason if you are perfect here, then integrating JavaScript also will be easy. So you don't need to spend much time there. Suppose see here, what is the attribute we have? Type. The purpose of type attribute actually is it specifies the language, CSS language, MIME type. Here you can simply say first initially style styles language MIME type. Actually, MIME means, so technically MIME is multi-purpose internet mail extensions. MIME is multi-purpose internet mail extensions. If you remembered, I already told you this while learning about images in HTML. Multi-purpose mail extensions, mail extensions, right? Multi-purpose mail extensions. So that is what actually MIME. That means, so it is responsible to make, it is responsible to make browser understand the code snippet of styles. The code snippet means the code block that you have written. So it is responsible to make browser understand the code snippet of styles. That is very important. So how you define for styles, the type is text/CSS. The type is text/CSS. That is how generally we define the type. So that is example for configuring the types. How do we define and configure the type? So this is an example of type. So I will copy this here, just a code snippet there, and apply. That is the basic syntax of defining the type attribute. So this is very important attribute also. So without that also it is working, but we have to follow the standards. Okay, second important attribute is you need to know about media. Actually, the media attribute defines which media the style should be applied to. That means it defines which media the style should be applied to. So that means, what do you mean by media? So the media indicates, actually media means, usually later we will discuss about media queries separately. It's a topic we have to learn. It actually indicates how you are targeting your information. That means actually, so media types describe the general category of a device, general category of a device. So which can be screen, or which can be printer, right? It can be screen, printer, or it can be speech, like etc. like this. That is the media types actually. That means, see here. So how you define the media? So technically how you configure the media queries. Later we will learn about other media queries, so other options. How do we target actually? Suppose you see here, I am defining media, and in the media I given as print media. Generally what happens is, these effects I defined as media print. That means on the screen it is not displaying them. It is not displaying. Let's open printer properties, Control P. These are print properties. In printing, you can see the styles alignment has been changed for them. You can observe that. Of course, background, foreground colors are not applied until or unless you configure your printer settings. Actually, this is PDF. Suppose you want to print on a printer. So on a printer, it will show how it will show the printer. Alignments have been changed. colors, configurations, everything will be according to the printer, the effects to the printer. That means now it is not displaying on the screen. It is not displaying on the screen, but these effects, it is working. It is working on the media print. Now, if I define as a screen, you define as a screen. That means usually it is applying on screen now. And I go to the print properties. In the print properties, they are not working here. In the print properties, they are not working here. That means the styles will not work in printing now, because you said that don't use them in printing, use them only on screen. In printing, it will ignore that. So because media you set to screen. So you can set the media to all. That means now it will show here, and in the printing, so you can see in the printing, it will display. Colors are not displayed in the printing, but alignments are working fine. So that means here, why colors are not displayed? Because so the colors are displayed. This is print preview. The colors are displayed while printing. In the printout, it will get those colors. Here the point, intention here, alignments, everything will change, right? Alignment, everything will change. Technically, where you want to apply, that is the concept. So you can use values. What are the values you can use? All, you can use print, you can use screen. These are the media attributes. You can even use speech also. Speech is not an option available here now. Why? Because speech requires text to speech concept to be enabled. That requires a special plugin actually. That means these effects will be in the speech. Speech means you have text to speech. I think you know Windows have a narrator. That narrator will narrate all the contents. Now, if you added some effects, those effects are also taken by that speech device, and it will narrate about those effects also. That requires a special speech plugin to be enabled actually. But the basic media types, so these are the media types that you have to configure. So you can use so type, you can use media. So these are two important options here. So now another option is, so we can have a attribute like title. Title is also an attribute here. Actually, title attribute is used to set alternative style sheets. So it is used to set a title for the style sheets, because if you are using multiple style sheets, they need one name actually. So title is not used here. So it is defined for style sheets. So when you link a style sheet, then when you link a style sheet, you can define custom title for style sheet. That is what actually title is. So that is not required every time actually. Title attribute is not required. It is in CSS style sheet, we will see that. Actually, we use this with an alternative style sheet. So, and one problem is this is not supported on every browser. That is the problem. Compatibility issues will be there. That's the reason we don't prefer this option. So that means keep this is not supported on every browser. Not supported on every browser. So that is the reason better avoid this in using. It is deprecated. Actually, we have scope attribute also, which is no longer used because it is gone now. We don't use any scope attributes anymore. Okay. So that is how the attributes are defined. The attributes are configured here. So that means here example how you keep the media. The media, we just add this syntax here. I will copy and this is the code. So this is an example for how you write the media options, how you configure the media options, right? So this is one point about how do we define embedded style. We have inline style, we have embedded styles. Okay. Another important, what is problem in this? Problem is nothing but suppose the same effects I want to the headings in another page. That means I have another page. So I have some home.html. In this also we have a heading, doc type HTML head and the title, this is home. And here also we have a heading. And this heading also, so welcome. So this heading also should be applied with the same effect, but it will not. Because you embedded here, it will work only here. Can I use them in this home HTML? You cannot use them. But many times we want our pages uniform in experience. Our pages uniform in experience. That means they should have a uniform experience. Everywhere they should look similar. Then you have to apply the styles. You have to apply the styles in such a way that they can be accessed and used across various pages. So then we can go with another technique. That is CSS. That is cascade style sheets. Actually, CSS is one technique of using styles. So, but generally our developers, they made this as a topic. That means now without CSS, you can't apply any styles. We can apply styles. But CSS is one technique of applying the style. Why it is CSS? Because what is the point actually? I think you know generally. So cascade, we have the word cascade. Cascade is a general English term. It is a general English term. And what do you mean by cascade? Cascade is a term. So cascade means it represents a type of arrangement. It is a type of arrangement. What is the specialty in this type of arrangement? Cascading. Cascading is a type of arrangement actually. Technically, it represents a type of arrangement, right? So what is this arrangement? Is nothing but actually cascading. I will show here. Suppose see I am using MS Paint. This is MS Paint. Okay, I am using some MS Word. I am using some browser. Okay, Notepad. Several applications are opened here. Okay, after that, what I am doing is go to the taskbar. You can see I have a taskbar here. In the taskbar, right click on the taskbar. And when I right click on my Windows taskbar, I will get an option called Cascade Windows. So stacked windows, side by side windows, cascade windows. What is this cascade windows? When I select this cascade windows, you can see all these are arranged in this way. Now, what is the specialty of this type of arrangement? Can you tell me what is the specialty of this type of arrangement? They look beautiful, huh? Or what is the specialty of this type of arrangement? Can you guess? Can you tell me that? Other than saying that they look beautiful like this, what is the type of arrangement? So what is the specialty of the type of this type of arrangement is the type of this arrangement. The main concept about this is from the foreground, you can see what is present in the background. Understood? Understood? That means from the foreground, you can see what is in the background. That means I can say that now in the background, I have a browser, I have a MS Paint, I have a Word document, I have a shopping HTML, Visual Studio Code. That means you are in the foreground, but you are able to see what are there in the background. That means CSS is nothing but cascading. Yeah, CSS is nothing but cascading the style sheets. Cascading the style sheet means, so what is this cascading of style sheet? Means nothing but you have a style sheet. So you have a styles. That means the styles are present. Styles are present in a separate style sheet. Are present in a separate style sheet. Here we are defining some styles. Now on the top of this style sheet, so we are using a HTML page. So that means on the top of this style sheet, we are using an HTML page. This is on the top of that. That means the effects that you have defined in the style sheet in the background, they are visible here in the foreground. That means you can access and use them here. But it is not present in the current page. It is behind the current page, but it is making it possible to use from the current page. So it is behind, but it is working for the foreground. This type of arrangement, usually this type of arrangement is called cascading. This is cascading style sheet. And here, this is where your HTML is present. Your HTML page is present. And it is having some heading here. So it is having some heading here. But the effects are coming from the style sheet, which is present in the background. It is coming from there. This is CSS, style sheets. So CSS is the name given for a type of arrangement. That means now we will not write styles here. Okay, what we do now? Styles are not defined here. Okay, what we do now? Styles are not defined there, so styles are not working. We will go to our folder and add a subfolder called styles. Okay, into that styles folder, I will add a new file called effects.css. Style sheets will have the extension .css. That means styles are maintained in a separate style sheet, and style sheet will have the extension .css. Cascade style sheets. Okay, here we will write the effects. So wherever we have heading, so there we will put a background color. So background color as some blue. Okay, and color as some white. Okay, and text align as center. So as center, I'm using them. Now the styles are maintained in a separate style sheet. Now our page have to use that. You can link that style sheet to our page. In the head section, we have to link by using a link tag. link relation is equal to, this time it is style sheet, and link href is the path. It is from styles effects.css. We are linking an external style sheet. I will save this. You can see so that styles are applied to that particular page. So that means style sheet. What is that? Some problem? Yeah. Relation is equal to style sheet link href is styles effects.css. We will save this. Some problem here. Any problem? Right. Is the style sheet loaded? It is working fine, right? We are giving heading once, right? Yeah, all are heading once here. Okay, so we will give heading. Here we are giving heading one all. Okay, in the style sheet we will change this to heading one. Okay, fine. Now you can see the styles are all applied here. They are working fine. That means they are all working for that particular element, right? Yeah. Now, important is, what is advantage is you can use this for any. That means we can go to home. In the home page, we can link relation. Link relation is equal to style sheet. Link href is equal to, so styles effects.css. And you can see here also heading one. Yeah. Now I run this. It will affect in this page also. It will affect these two pages. That means it is affecting in this page. So it is affecting in that page, and it is applied to this page. Now what is the point here is, when you change the styles, it will be reflected in both locations. Go to effects and you change here. I change it to some green, and you can see it should affect both of them. That is good. That means you can reuse the styles across various pages and use them. We can reuse across various pages and use them technically. Okay. Now important is, it looks good. There is nothing like, nobody can ask which is best, because external style sheet is always a problem. Why always a problem? There is nothing like which one is best. Always we have a problem. That means here CSS means styles are maintained in a separate style sheet. So with that have the extension .css. You can link the style sheet to any HTML page and reuse the styles, any HTML page, and reuse the styles. But what is problem is, using an external file for HTML page will increase the number of requests for page, and also the page load time. So unnecessarily we cannot use this. Using an external file for HTML page will increase the number of requests and also the page load time. So it is not great every time. Suppose you can observe here, I will open the debugger, inspect. In the network category, so I am refreshing this page and the effects are applied here. So you can see it is showing like, so total load time. So total load time, see the number of requests. Actually, the third one is that is a extra plugin for our live server. Two requests are there for the page. One is inline, this is CSS. Two requests are there. And you can see the load time 50 milliseconds. It has taken 50 milliseconds to load, right? To load the content, right? Now, what we are doing here is we are changing this. Let's go here. We will copy this, and here we will not put a style sheet. I will remove that. Okay. Currently effects are not working. Okay. I will keep a style, and in the style we are keeping. So in the style we are keeping these options. That means we are defining embedded. So we are not using an external style sheet. Now what happens is when you are doing that, you can see that now the load time is 42 milliseconds. 42 milliseconds. That means it reduces. Previously it was 50 milliseconds. Now it is 42 milliseconds. It improves the page load time. And the number of bytes, you can see the number of requests also reduced. This will affect the performance of application. If you are linking style sheets without reusing them across, then it is always a problem. Nobody can ask you a question like which one is best. That is the foolish question asked everywhere, right? Which one is best? So that depends on the situation I need. I am in the situation, right? And where I don't want reusability, then I will go inline. I will go embedded. There is nothing like best because styles CSS also have problem. The problem is they increase the number of requests and the page load time using an external style sheet. So example for this is, so create a new folder, styles, and add a new file, suppose effects.css, and we keep some effects into that. We keep some effects into this. So these are the effects into that. We are adding some effects into that. And we need to link this to the link to any HTML page. And that we have done here. So we are linking to that HTML page. So home or any HTML page, I will copy that. And we can use that here. But the problem is the time taken for loading the page will be affected. So depending on the situation, we have to use either inline or embedded or external style sheets, CSS. That is the first point, how to integrate styles in HTML. Now the second point, we have to learn how to write the styles. What is the basic syntax of writing styles? How we can apply effects? That we will see tomorrow, right? In tomorrow's session, we will detailedly discuss about the syntax of writing style and working with the styles. Okay.